So you come up on an individual that has been injured, someone in an accident. You need to determine, what do I need to do? What's going on here? What kind of aid do I need to provide? The first thing that you're going to do is what's referred to as a primary assessment. There's two primary assessments. There's a primary assessment for an unresponsive individual. This is an individual that can't respond to you. Basically, they're looking at someone who's unconscious. The other one is you can do a primary assessment for an individual who is responsible. In other words, there's a level of consciousness there. LOC, level of consciousness. You will hear that term used, LOC. So the first thing you want to do is you want to determine whether or not the scene is safe. If the scene's not safe, stay out of it. If the scene becomes unsafe, get out of there. You say, wait a minute. Somebody needs some help, and you're telling me that if the scene's not safe, I should just leave that person to their own and not help them. What happens if you go into a scene that's not safe and you become a casualty? Now somebody's got to deal with two people instead of one. You go in to help and you become a problem rather than someone who's going to provide assistance. Dr. Briggs told you about this already. Two brothers. One brother gets in trouble. What's the other brother going to do? The other brother is going to try to help his brother. Can either brother rescue the other? Do they know life-saving techniques? Apparently they didn't. So now, instead of that mother losing one son, that mother is going to lose two sons. So if the scene's not safe, you don't go in. If it becomes unsafe, you get out. Okay? Remember that. Primary assessment. Determine if the scene is safe. You want to tap the individual on the shoulder or squeeze their shoulder. We refer to this as shake and shout. And you want to ask them if they're okay. Because that individual's there. They're asleep. They didn't get any rest last night, so they're asleep. And you wake them up. You thought there was something wrong with them. Well, maybe not. You want to make sure what you're dealing with to see if you can get any response from them. So the first thing you're going to do is shake and shout and squeeze their shoulder, shake them on the shoulder, and see what's going on. If you do not get a response, you know something's wrong. You don't need to waste any time. Activate emergency medical service, EMS, and again, that should be part of your emergency action plan. You should know how to do that. The second thing, go ahead and get an AED. An AED, we'll talk about those in a couple of weeks. You'll get a chance to play with them a little bit. They're becoming more and more popular, and they're becoming more and more available. If you're working in a sports complex, you should have an AED, at least one. You should know where it is. You should know how to use it. So go ahead and activate EMS. Go ahead and get an AED coming. If you need it, you've got it. If you don't need it, that's fine. Okay? Then the next thing that you're going to do, and this is going to be a little bit different for you, but I'm going to try to help you understand this. You're going to start responding to what you see. And this is referred to, this is not in your text, so you might want to make a note on this. It's what I refer to as the ABCs. The first thing that you're going to do, turn the victim on their back, face up. A stands for airway. Open the airway. B, breathing. Is the individual breathing? C, circulation. Do they have a pulse? Now, if you run into a situation where the airway's blocked, you find out. If the individual's not breathing, you find out. If the individual doesn't have a pulse, you find out. All these things are done immediately. So you know what you're dealing with. At that point, you decide what action to take. In this case, what you would do is you would do CPR. You already got some back there. Okay? Do CPR. That's week after next. Okay? So let me show you what this looks like. And you guys over here, I'm going to be on this table right here. So y'all may have to move around where you can see. If you sit over there like knots on logs, you can't see, you're not going to know what's going on. Okay? We're going to use these mannequins for CPR as well, but right now we're going to look at this. Come up on an individual, survey the scene, look safe, I don't see any problem. I come in, shake and shout. Are you okay? Are you okay? It's not, hey, are you doing okay? No, shout. You want them to hear. Are you okay? Are you okay? No response. We're going to open the airway. You'll learn more about this in CPR, but I'm going to show it to you now because you need to know it now. What we want to do is we want to put one hand on the forehead, and if you'll press down and lift the chin just a little, you can open that airway. Now at that point, unless that airway is blocked, the individual should be able to breathe. But I want to check it. So I'm going to look, listen, and feel. And this is what I want to see. There's no excuse for this. Oh, yeah, well, they're breathing. You don't know. Look. Look for the chest. Is the chest rising and falling? Listen. Can I hear breath? Feel. Can I feel a breath on my cheek? Look, listen, feel. Now I know whether or not the individual is breathing. At the same time I'm doing that, I want to check for pulse. And what I want to do is take my middle finger and my index finger, start at the Adam's apple, slide it down till I feel this little groove right here. Slide it right down there and feel for pulse. 10 seconds. Does it have a pulse? Now let me show you what you're going to do on that. You're going to get this part pretty good. But then when you check for pulse, you're going to reach across the throat and you're going to go to this side and check for pulse. Now in the excitement, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up pressing down on the throat. That's a no-no. So slide your fingers down on the side and check for pulse. A, airway. B, breathing. C, checking for pulse to see if there's circulation. And now I know what I have. If the person is breathing, if the person has a pulse, then something else is going on. If there's no pulse, no breathing, you begin CPR. Okay? Get a partner. Get a partner. Come up here and get one body and one head. Go back. I'll show you how to set these up.